So, it's amazing that The Lost Boys continues to be such an iconic staple of the horror comedy genre. And I love that it's getting this beautiful new 4K release. How does it feel for you both that it's getting, this wonderful remaster all these years later?
Well, I just think that to be in this movie, that we had such a blast making it, and it was so much a part of my childhood or my teenage years. And then that this is enduring, and that people are watching us have a great time on screen, and it's meaningful to them, and they're showing it to their kids, and their kids are showing it to their kids, and so it's just really exciting for me that we're still here, and that the new 4K. I'm really excited about it. It's going to look really cool.
I think a sign of the times, or a sign of the film's popularity and stick-to-itiveness, is the fact that we're doing a press junket 35 years later for the same movie that we've done multiple press junkets for. I honestly, we've done big reunions for Goonies, we've done some reunion stuff for Stand By Me, and we've done some stuff for this, but this is the first time I can think of any of my films where, the studio's like that excited and they know it's going to do that well, that it's worth doing something of this magnitude, where we're doing different interviews with different press people all day long to promote a 35-year-old movie that's going to look brand new. And I think the 4K release is going to look so clean and so shiny and so beautiful. It's going to like bring it back to life. That's a great thing about celluloid, though. People forget. Celluloid is a living art. It's literally, the film is alive. There's cells in it, and it's a living thing. It's a living, breathing thing. And so, films, or movies that come out on film, I should say, really have such a more impactful presence on your soul when you watch it, because you're feeling that life come to life, and I think it's just beautiful. I'm really glad that they're doing this, and I'm really grateful to be a part of something that's, still in everybody's mind and still in everybody's heart,
Now, when you look back on the making of the film, do you guys remember any kind of specific moment where your chemistries clicked with one another and you just were having a blast filming together?
Every day.
Yeah. Whenever we were shooting, it was just a lot of fun in that way, that we were working off each other. The thing I think of mostly, and it might just be because there's a picture of it, but it's like in the comic book store where we were on either side of the, Haim was on the other side of the, and
the rack.
Yeah, the rack, and and we just with a little glance or something, it was so enjoyable. It was so like, both Corys, even though they were at that point, pretty big actors, they were just really giving, and it was really enjoyable to be on screen.
Thanks, buddy.
In those scenes. Sure, buddy.
Appreciate that. Sure. Well, I have to say, touche. There weren't many guys that could keep up with us, because we were seasoned professionals. I'd been doing it for a decade already. And on the day that I met Jamison, they had me come in and read with a series of different guys as Alan. And, it was all about, like, where's the chemistry, right? Who's going to fit? Who's the perfect fit? And I remember immediately when Jamison came in, he was so dry and he was so just stoic, and I remember thinking, like, is this going to come off? This guy's kind of bland, and then when he started acting and playing the role, it was just like, it hit perfectly. It was the perfect chemistry. It was the perfect give and take. A lot of actors, they get self-obsessed. They're in their own mind and they're doing their performance, but they're not thinking about how their performance affects your performance. But he's always had the natural ability to give back, which is incredible.
Thanks, man. Thanks a lot. Look at that. We're just complimenting each other, but
well, it's true.
It was enjoyable.
Now we've done 4 films together, so we're used to working together.
Yeah, and we do these little, these videos for fans sometimes, cameos or other things. And we just have a blast. It's much more broad comedy than in the movie,
right,
but
we're kind of lampooning ourselves as the Frog Brothers, but it's fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and also, by the way, Jamison is now a singer because I've been on tour with my band over the summer promoting my new album, and Jamison has started to make appearances with us, showing up, and I do Cry Little Sister at every show. and people love it. It's their favorite part of the show. We have the film clips playing behind us
Yeah,
and the
it's really
screen.
cool.
And then he comes up and does People Are Strange. So
Yeah,
that
we did it
adds like a
together.
whole nother dimension. You know, now we got Lost Boys live.
Yeah.
So
It's really cool. The fans went. It was like because Corey did it. Like Corey's show is really great. He really rocks it. Corey's doing awesome.
Thank you.
And then to come up and be a part of that and the crowd going wild, it was just great.
Yeah, it's
just
fun.
great.
It's fun to watch their reactions.
That's incredible. I'm going to have to try and make my way out to one of those shows and
Well,
catch
guess what?
live.
We're going to be doing a second leg, by the way. And on October 29th, we're going to be in Houston, Texas, with the Lost Boys thing. And then we're in New Orleans on the 30th. And on the 31st, we're doing a big Halloween special in Dallas, Texas. And they're going to show the film. And we're hoping that Jameson can join us for that one as well.
Yes.
That's
I cleaned it up.
Good.
All right.
That's awesome. That's pretty epic. I look forward to looking into more details, I should say, for that.
Yeah. Hopefully you can make it.
So with the 4K release then, I mean, this film, Joel Schumacher is just wonderful visual director, but is there any one sequence that you're really excited for people to get to see in this new remaster?
Well, I think the stuff that's really cool for me visually, I mean, a lot of it is, but the stuff in the cave with the worms and the maggots and what's his name? Jim Morrison. Yeah. That whole thing I think is going to look really cool. I'm really excited to see that part.
Yeah, yep, I agree. And I think particularly the slime is going to come to life in a whole new way. A lot of people don't realize, but in the blood, they didn't want it to look like blood because Schumacher was very cognizant of the fact that, you didn't want to scare kids. You wanted to keep it in a family-oriented thing, even though they went with an R rating. But I think the intention originally was to make it like a teenage romp for like the whole family. And so to stay away from it being too gory for little kids, he wanted to like kind of make it more realistic that vampires wouldn't have your normal blood. It wouldn't be dark red. It wouldn't be dark, like blood looking. It would be like kind of glittery or slimy and glittery. So they took this slime. It was like actual like Nickelodeon slime, and then they put a bunch of glitter in it, and it with chunks of stuff. Sometimes it was supposed to be vampire guts, I guess. Yeah. And so they would drape us with this stuff every day. We'd have to come in and get sopped with it because it'd have to match whenever we did the scene before it where we kill them or whatever. So I think in high def and in 4K, you're gonna actually see the sparkle of the slime coming to life. Yeah. So people might notice the detail.
The slime detail.
I'm on slime detail tonight. Thank you very much.
There you go. Well, and that's what I love about this movie and many movies from that era. It's just that practical nature to it. It's such a killer thing to look back on when it's done as well as this.
Killer thing, exactly.
Yeah, man, there you go. Before I let you guys go, with the Frog Brothers, everybody has always been curious to see you guys reunite to take down Kiefer, given that his fate has always been kind of left ambiguous. And I'm curious, what are your thoughts on possibly coming back for that in the future?
Well, I think that's an interesting idea to actually go after Kiefer once and for all. I mean, I've long thought that that bringing the Frog Brothers to a new level, that a Frog Brothers show, I think would be really cool to really get into the ins and outs of who they are, and I think that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, Jameson's actually had an idea for a while, a concept to do a Frog Brothers TV show where we kind of go after different creatures or things every night. But also, along with that, we did the 2 Lost Boys sequels, but they were kind of half-ass sequels, I guess you would say, because direct to DVD. Yeah. Not everybody knew they were out. They weren't as big as the original, and they didn't have all the cast back. Right. And obviously, with the loss of Haim and Brooke and there's a couple of them that aren't there with us anymore. But that said, Jason's still here, Kiefer's still here, we're still here. So I think there is a way to do it. And I actually had a concept. I had a really good treatment, which I did pitch Warner Brothers at one point, but they said it was too expensive. But it had like a prequel and a current timeline that kind of met up in the middle. And the idea was to go back in a flashback to show Kiefer and Angus, who played the lead vampire in the sequel, the Tribe, and it was, you know, his brother, Kiefer's brother, Angus. So we wanted to show both of them as brothers before they got bit, to show the history of how it happened, how they became who they are, and then to show the prequel kind of history of the Frog Brothers and how they came to be vampire hunters, and the lineage between it all. Because if you think about it, it's a family film. It's about 3 different families. So to go back in the history of how those families got to that point, and then going forward, how we would finally get Kiefer in the end. And also, there is a surprise new bad vampire who would be the boy's father. Ding, 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 Donald Sutherland. I mean, it's a cool idea, right? So
it was a cool idea just to bring those 2 together, because that they actually are brothers. And
yeah,
they were
exactly.
2,
and then you have their dad actually
Right.
be the dad. I mean, you know,
That would've been
I'm
trippy.
just saying, it was a good idea.
It was a good idea.
I think it's a great idea, and hopefully with this 4K release, it sparks some new interest, and they hit you guys up.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome? You heard
would
him,
be.
Warner Brothers.
Well, I am getting the rap signal. So, gentlemen, thank you both so much for taking the time to chat with me. In case it
Thank
wasn't
you.
obvious, I'm a big fan of this film and a big fan of you both. So it's been
Thank
a
you,
real
thank
honor.
you.